Hey guys, what is up and welcome to a new NVIDIA daily update video. So today, as per usual, let's go over NVIDIA stock. Let's go over what has happened to the stock, what we can expect moving forward, and all of that good stuff. So, ladies and gentlemen, as per usual, if you do enjoy this video, please don't forget to hit that like button. This is not financial advice and I am not a financial advisor. And of course, if you do enjoy my technical analysis, thoughts on the charts, etc., well, I do share my thoughts with my members every single day. And my members so far have been seemingly pretty happy. Someone mentioned in the comment today that based on my morning reads, they actually exited their NVIDIA position right before this massive sell-off even happened. So, kudos for them. I mean, good stuff on that. Obviously, it's not financial advice. I'm just sharing my thoughts. Obviously, your trades are your own. But nonetheless, the point is the fact that, I try to help in a certain aspect, and hopefully my thoughts help you. But that's kind of the point I try to get across in my members section. It's just $3 a month where I mainly share thoughts on Tesla stock in the first tier, sometimes other stocks as well, of course, if I see an opportunity. Or for $5 a month, you get access to everything in the first tier, but you also get access to my NVIDIA daily thoughts and updates on the charts as the market is trading. But jumping into it, NVIDIA, with a pretty painful day, closing down over 3% on the day, closing at $142.62 and down a little bit more after hours. So what does this actually mean moving forward for NVIDIA? Well, like I said, and this is what I was saying the last 2 days, guess where everyone is probably FOMOing, and guess where everyone is probably scared. Man, again, when a stock like NVIDIA is ultimately going sideways like this, you cannot beat the bands. I mean, the bands, they're just ping-ponging back and forth constantly. Why ignore something that's clearly working? And like I said, yes, this could have been that breakout. This could have been that instance. This could have, absolutely, right? There's always that risk, of course. But based on the situation that I've been seeing, and this is what I said yesterday, and I think the day before as well, I'm going to go ahead and go with what's been working for quite some time on NVIDIA until proven otherwise. And so far, it's continuing to work once again. So what does this actually mean moving forward though, right? So NVIDIA with a massive rejection actually did end up having a gap up. Now, one thing to note is the fact that gap ups on a massive uptrend after you've already rallied up this aggressively and are getting a gap up, everyone gets excited on a gap up. You should actually get scared. Gap ups are the scariest thing after a massive rally and vice versa. When you're having a massive sell-off, gap downs is when you should be excited. Why? Because a gap up after a massive rally like this is the opportune time for a very bearish reversal, and the opposite is true for a gap down after a decent sell-off. Very good opportunities for potential very powerful candle reversal structure. And that's what we got today, right? Nice gap up. We did end up going above that inside day candle, and we did pretty much tap 149. Like I said, 149 to 150 becomes the level we can tap if we break above that inside day candle. Obviously, we rejected very aggressively because the bands have suggested we are now overbought and the RSI was overbought. Very powerful signals. I've proven it over and over and over again so far in NVIDIA, and honestly in general on good stocks. It's a powerful combo. It's a very powerful combo with my specific RSI settings. Granted, I'm not using the default RSI, but nonetheless. So NVIDIA had this very steep rising channel. There's two very bad things that happened today, right? First and foremost, we had this very steep rising channel on NVIDIA. Whether you look at it on the daily, whether you look at it on the 4-hour chart, the idea is the same, right? Very steep rising channel that we've, after the sell-off, had a massive rise very aggressively. Obviously today we broke down out of that channel, which says that the uptrend is officially done. Now this doesn't mean it has to continue selling off, even though it's the more likely outcome. It just means that we most likely have finished this massive steep uptrend. So moving forward, obviously, like I said, I do believe that we most likely will continue a sell-off. You can see the MACD on the 4-hour, not the MACD, sorry, the stochastic on the 4-hour is on the verge of flipping back to bearish in overbought territory. That is something to watch out for. And of course, again, we broke down out of this steep rising channel. On top of that, the daily has, of course, printed a very obvious bearish engulfing candle. The last time we had a bearish engulfing candle, which was an astronomical bearish engulfing candle, but a bearish engulfing candle nonetheless, we obviously sold off a bit more. Now, are we going to sell off this much more aggressively? I don't know. Hard to say. That is a possibility though, right? A bearish engulfing candle is a very strong pattern, right? For instance, if you go here, right, bearish reversal, 79% of the time, this is like bearish and bullish engulfing candles are probably some of the most reliable technical candle structure patterns, reversal patterns in the market, right? You can see the frequency rank is 11, right? Overall performance rank 91. Like it's a pretty damn good, right, pattern, right? In this case, the bearish reversal pattern for the bearish engulfing candlestick, 79% of the time. So it's very, pretty much 80%. 8 out of 10 times, it does confirm a reversal is pretty much going to occur. And that's exactly what we printed today, right? It's what we did last time over here. It's what we did today. So combine that with the channel, breakdown, essentially, it's hard to think that the downtrend will not continue. Now, obviously, we've talked about those levels to the downside. I've said them before, and I will obviously reiterate them once again over here. If we take the Fibonacci from down all the way over here, back at 129, all the way up to this recent swing high that we had, the first level we actually touched more or less at today's low. Excuse me. Which is about that 141.5-ish dollars per share, which is at 0.382 Fibonacci level. Now, obviously, if this is all she wrote, there is a small chance, I don't think it's going to happen, but there is a chance that, hey, we just bounce from here. That's it, problem solved. We just go up from here, all good. But unfortunately, because we also have this bearish engulfing candle, I think there'll be more to it than that. Because we printed two very bearish patterns, right? Breakout of the channel and a bearish engulfing. I think there'll be more pain than that. And I think the next level to really watch out for, to where I think NVIDIA will most likely make its way to, is about $137 per share, which is that 618 Fibonacci retracement. And the worst case scenario, where I think people will most likely start panicking again, will be closer to the bottom end of the Bollinger Band and that 786.826 Fibonacci level, which is sitting at 133 roughly dollars per share. So those are the three main targets. We've technically already hit one of them, but I'd be pretty surprised if that's all we get. And I do expect us to probably come down to one of these two main Fibonacci levels down here. Like I mentioned, 137 or 133, one of those two. I don't know which one. Nobody knows which one. But those are the main levels to the downside I personally will be looking at moving forward, right? Again, once I see that at least the 4-hour candlestick pattern and the Bollinger Band, I don't think the Bollinger Band will get oversold, unfortunately. I think it's too low. I don't think we'll go that. I actually don't think we'll go down that low. But once the RSI gets oversold on the 4-hour, that's where I'm going to start getting interested again. Okay, now I'm getting interested, right? Now I'm getting interested. Now, I do want to have a small caveat, right? Very short term on the 1-hour. We are a little bit on the more oversold section, right? You can see we're at the bottom end of the Bollinger Band, and the 1-hour RSI is oversold. So don't be too surprised if maybe we start off Monday with a little bit of a pop, maybe to 144-ish, give or take, but most likely make our way back down further from there. So that's kind of my overall perspective right now on NVIDIA, right? To really make it as simple as possible. The weekly still looks pretty all right. I don't think the weekly is anything too bad or necessarily good. I think it's okay. Yeah, it's all right. We're above the green cloud. We're holding decent levels. Yeah, that looks fine, I think, right? Nothing really alarms me too much about the weekly, other than the fact that the stochastic and the MACD are still pretty much pointing straight down. But, that could be just because we are essentially correcting sideways, and this is their version of correcting it, essentially, if that makes sense. So it's not that concerning. The weekly is very neutral to me, right? It's very neutral to me. It's not really telling me anything, maybe slightly bullish, I would say, but it's nothing like overwhelmingly bearish or bullish, in my opinion, of course. But the daily chart really tells the picture here, and that's kind of what I'm seeing right now moving forward. I do expect more pain, and let's see how it plays out. Again, just don't fight the bands, man. The bands are powerful. The bands plus the RSI, man. So honestly, I could probably trade with literally just those two things and nothing else. It's all you need, man. It's really sometimes all it feels like you need, really. But yeah, that's my current analysis on NVIDIA. Let's take a quick look at options flow, of course, for NVIDIA. I get on Cheddar Flow, very good options platform. If you're interested, then I have a link to it down below. Definitely check it out. I do have a discount code for it as well. If you use my link down below, you get a discount for trying it out. But jumping into it, NVIDIA, of course, getting some nice bullish flow, but not nearly as overwhelming as we've seen before. So let's see how that actually translates overall down the road. But towards the end of the day, we did get some call flow come into NVIDIA. Unfortunately, most of it is a little bit farther out. Actually, no, we have a 131. We have two for 131, which is obviously, I think, next Friday. Yeah, so we have two calls that came in for next Friday, 130K, 150K, which I guess is not too bad. Yeah, we got some calls coming in, but again, they could be wrong. You never know. I personally don't base my trades strictly off of options flow. I know some people do. I don't. But NVIDIA is, of course, the most confirmed bearish flow at 25.5 million for bearish flow. So yeah, I mean, let's just see how this plays out. Let's see how this translates into early next week. Again, next week is also going to be a very massive week. We have a lot of earnings. I think we have Microsoft earnings, I think, next week on Wednesday. We have Tesla earnings. I think we have Meta, was it? Yeah, Meta earnings. We have Apple earnings as well on Friday, I think it is, on Thursday actually. So we have a lot of earnings coming out next week. We have FOMC next week, and if I'm not mistaken, I think I remember hearing about VIX calls coming in as well. Actually, VIX puts came in instead. Never mind. Okay, I saw someone talking about VIX calls. I'm not sure what happened with that. Maybe it's something else. I'm not sure, but I saw VIX calls coming in from people. So people that follow options flow much more closely than I do. But anyways, let's see. Nonetheless, with all this earnings and FOMC all packed into 1 week, we should expect some decent volatility next week as well. So let's see how that plays out. So as usual, don't do anything stupid. But that's just my opinion, and I'm not a financial advisor. But thank you so much for watching. I'll see you for the next one. Peace.